What up, YouTube? It's your boy Greg back at it again with That's So Good Fragrances, and I'm gonna give you guys another video today. Now, I have a fragrance that comes from a fragrance house that's starting to get reviewed and popular, and we're gonna talk about it today, and I'm gonna give you guys the scent profile and whether or not I think this is a shop or a drop or not. But before we start, stop what you're doing, stop. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It shows the algorithm that you're rocking with me, and it helps me to make better content. So subscribe and let's take it to the top together. Now, without further ado, this fragrance is a fragrance that comes from a relatively new fragrance house, and it's starting to get some popularity and a little bit of traction in the fragrance community. And I heard of this fragrance actually watching YouTube videos of another fragrance influencer. Shout out to Curly Fragrances. But she said that this particular fragrance was one of the better fragrances from the brand. So we're gonna test it out and see if this is a cop, shop, or drop. So without further ado, the fragrance that I'm talking about that we're gonna be reviewing today is no other than Riffs Imperial Noir. So I'll give you guys a note breakdown, I'll give you guys a profile, and then I'll give you guys a little tip of what I think about the sillage and longevity. So without further ado, the notes on this fragrance are going to be lemon, bergamot, pepper for the top note. For the mid note is going to be lavender, ginger, and alabamium. I think that's how you pronounce it, alabamium. I don't know what note that is. But for the base, it's gonna be vanilla tonka bean amber profile. So with that being said, this is the presentation that you get. Nice little bottle. And that's what you get. Look at that, guys. Nice bottle, nice top. The top is bedazzled. Very nice, very nice. It comes in this presentation. You get a nice darkened bottle, and I really like it. I think it's a pretty good presentation, you know. And then here on the side, you get the note breakdown, and then you just slide it right back on that bottle. Now, I've had a chance to review this fragrance, and what I'm going to say is this. It's a good fragrance. It's a very typical note breakdown, but I had mixed thoughts about this fragrance or whatever. For Eau de Parfum concentration is not very concentrated, and that's where the problem comes in. When you spray it, you get notes of lemon right off the bat, and it smells good, but the thing is, it's just not that strong. But one thing that I'm gonna do for you guys is we're gonna spray it, test the bump cap, show you guys what to expect. All right, got our envelope paper, bump cap. It's a very nice bump cap, you know. A lot of these fragrances are really starting to step up with the atomizers or whatever and make them high quality atomizers. So shout out to Riffs for that. And right off the back, you do get that lemon, you do get that bergamot. It does have that sharp lemon citrusy smell like when you first smell it. That is one thing that I do notice. It's sharp, and it does have like a citrus type of note to it when it first is sprayed. So that's what you get when you first spray it. Now, if I was to get into the sillage of this guys is a skin scent for the most part. So don't expect much out of it. It's not very loud. It doesn't leave a scent trail. This is something that stays close to the skin, and that's the problem. But you often get what you pay for with these fragrances. You know, I think I paid maybe 30 bucks for this on Fragrance X. So not a considerably large amount of money, but nevertheless, with a fragrance like that, you definitely want a little bit more out of it. So doesn't leave much of a scent trail, kind of stays close to the skin, but it doesn't smell bad at all. The note breakdown is very generic, especially when you start looking at the base and stuff like that. It's very typical. You know, a lot of fragrances that are in this wheelhouse, as we talk about in some of the other videos, are going to have that vanilla amber breakdown, vanilla amber tonka breakdown, and this one isn't any different. When you look at it, it definitely has that vanilla amber tonka breakdown, which makes the uniqueness of this fragrance not very unique. As far as longevity for this fragrance, I get maybe an hour and a half on skin. Now keep in mind, guys, like with me, my skin is not the best to really rate like longevity on, because my skin is really dry, guys. I have a dry type of skin. I'm like one of those, I have to moisturize after I get out of the shower. But even putting moisturizer on and stuff like that, I'm only getting maybe about an hour and a half out of this. Now, I can stretch it a little bit more to maybe 2 to 3 hours if I put it on the skin and the clothes, which I usually do. But this is just a very weak performer, guys. If you're looking for that pie-ow and you're looking for something that's gonna take you to the next level and they can smell it in the next neighborhood, this is not going to be it, guys. Now, with that being said, with a fragrance like this, you would keep this in your gym bag. This would be a good fragrance to have in the car with you, like if you needed to freshen up real quick, or you were at the gym and you wanted something to kind of spruce up after you got done with the gym and maybe you had to run a couple errands. Or as we talk about a fragrance like this, you could just kind of use it as aftershave if it doesn't last long, which is traditionally what a lot of, you know, eau de colognes were for. They had a very low concentration of oil in the ingredients, therefore to be used as cologne, aftershave, or something very light. So with that being said, this fragrance you could possibly get on Fragrance Net for a little bit cheaper, but I always put the link in the description, guys, for you. But overall, this fragrance smells good, but it just doesn't last. So don't expect the sillage to really be out there, and don't expect much longevity out of it. And by the way, I just thought about something. You know, with a fragrance like this, you might have a job where you can't be too loud, or you have to be kind of, you know, low key with the fragrances you wear. So I just thought about that. But there are people that have jobs where, you know, you can't wear something that's loud, and this would be perfect for somebody that works in an office building and you can't have something that's loud and cloying. This would be perfect for it. Now, with this being said, the seasons that I would wear this, it's definitely going to be spring, summer. This is not winter material because it's not projecting as is. And with that winter cold air, this definitely wouldn't break through the air and probably will become more of a skin scent. But in the spring, summertime, the fragrance like this or whatever, the warm air could cause it to project more. But with it being the winter time, I wouldn't know too much about whether or not it will project. But in my opinion, this is a spring summer special. Now, as far as like age range for this fragrance, for a fragrance like this is definitely screaming older gentleman, 32 plus. You know, it definitely has like sophisticated vibes to it. It's not very playful. It's kind of dark. It's very, best way I could put it is it's kind of dark, it's kind of sharp, and it just doesn't have like that sweet vibe that a lot of younger fragrances or a lot of fragrances that are leaning more towards younger people have. This is more of a dark, dry, kind of unsweetened fragrance that leans close to the skin. So if you're looking for compliments or something, this probably wouldn't do it. because in order for compliments to be had, people had to smell you, right? So if nobody smells you, you can't really get compliments. So with that being said, overall, I would rate this fragrance probably a no-go for me. Maybe for you guys, you could go check it out. But for me and what I'm looking for in my fragrances or whatever, this is definitely going to be a no for me. But like I said, I know a lot of you guys that watch my videos come from all walks of life, and this might be something that might be more appealing to you if you're working in the office, or maybe if you're doing home health care and you're around sensitive noses and you can't be around people that have sensitive noses with harsh cologne. This might be a better fit for you. Maybe if you're going to church and you're a frequent churchgoer, this might be good, because I know a lot of times in church there's congregations and you might not want to be so off-putting to the people in the congregation, so you would wear something like that. But overall for me, this is a no-go. I'll post a link in the description, and if this is something that you guys can see yourself wearing, you could go check it out. But without further ado, that's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching. That's So Greg Fragrances. We're back at it again, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.